Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thanks for joining us. Today we have got this Harris Lebus 2-drawer chest to do. We are going to look to finish this, probably paint it. The top is in a right old state, but I'm hoping to keep this top drawer, strip it back and restain it because the pattern of the grain on here is really lovely. Otherwise it's in pretty good nick, not too much. The top is pretty bad as I said, but there's not too much damage on this one, and I really love the hardware, so I'm probably going to keep those but probably get them painted to a different colour depending on what colour I go with for the main carcass. So all exciting. We've got to get this cleaned and then strip back this stain to see what state the wood's in underneath. Let's go. Okay, so first job is to remove all the hardware. We are keeping the hardware on this unit, but it needs to come off so that we can strip back these drawers and paint the handles as well. So here we go then, we are going to strip the varnish back on this top drawer. The grain is really beautiful on here, so we want to keep that and probably stain it in a natural oak colour. We will probably need to do this a couple of times just to get through the layers of varnish. So here we are layering it on, and we'll just leave it for a bit, scrape it up, scrape it all back, and then go again. Nice. Ooh, gross. Nice colour. Bad. The first scrape back went really well, lots of nasty came off, so we just put another layer on and then scraped that back just to get as much of the old varnish off as possible. You can see it's not coming off as much, so the first go did really well. And then we're going in with some wire wool just to get into the grain as much as possible, just to get as much of that old finish off as we can, so that when the new stain goes on it looks lovely.
And Dylan's just joining in. Hi folks. So yeah, now we're doing some sanding away here, just working through different grades. You can see Rachel there's got the 120, and we're just gently tightening the grain a little bit. 180 now going on, just to start to really smooth and get a silky finish. We don't want to polish it to the ends of the earth because we want to leave enough open grain to be able to get the stain to actually sit in there a little bit later on. So I think what you're going for now, 240 is your final?
240 for the final sand before it's ready for staining.
And it looks fantastic, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think the only issues with this particular one were a couple of bits of chipped veneer which we were prepared with some paints. But for now we're just getting some white spirit on there just to get the fine dust out and to expose the grain, check everything's uniform.
Absolutely. And I've left you now. I've abandoned you for pastures new and left you to do all the cleaning of the actual main carcass of the unit.
That's it now, on the scrubber.
Yeah.
So we've got basically some degreaser cleaning compound here, just getting rid of any old waxes and oils. Obviously we didn't need to do that on the drawer because we were going to get some paint stripper on that, but because we're going to be sanding this, you can see the grime. Also very hot today as well. It was over 30 degrees C. I think the hottest day of the year in the UK. So yeah,
that's why I left you to it.
So we were feeling that, but what it did do is allow us to work outside and get some fresh air. And you can see me just using a blade here just to remove some of the paint that had fallen on it over the years. I'm not sure how or when, but obviously these were paint drops rather than original applied paint per se, so they weren't worked in as such. They were fairly easy to remove.
Chunky.
So, but obviously the more we can peel off at this stage, the less we have to do with the sander later. Speaking of which, we're just using a scuff sand here just to get rid of some of the old flaky residue and give us a nice sound even base ready for the primer coat. So with all of the sanding and prep work done, it's time to get back into the workshop, get it masked up. There we go, well it is now scuff sanded and wiped down. Any loose residue is removed and we're ready to go. So I've masked off the insides here. I've kept a little lip, excuse the lighting, but I've kept the lip all the way around because the drawers can potentially show a couple of millimeters around the inside when they're closed. So we're giving ourselves just a bit of leeway here and masked off from the inside, a bit like how I would do with the car paint. So taping from the inside and then taping back to that. This tape and drape is brilliant stuff, by the way. So it's just got like your self-adhesive masking tape across the top and then you can just drag it down to where you need it. So anyway, that's done. I've also masked around the back as well, and not too fancy here, but basically just anywhere where there's going to be any over paint, as it were, because I will probably just come around that little lip at the back and indeed over the upstand as well. Also be careful not to damage the original label. Yes, it is tired and scruffy, but it is the original Lebus branded label on the back, and as I'm not going to paint this hardboard, you can see where a mirror would have been. I'm just going to push it forward a minute. You can see where the mirror would have been, but that's kind of part of the original charm of this unit. It's got the original maker's marks and stickers and what have you, so I'm going to leave all of those on. So there she is anyway, all ready for primer. Now in terms of primer, I'll probably use this Zinsser Bullseye 123 water-based. I normally use the solvent-based one, as you probably know, the red one, but we've got plenty of this in the can here and I'm not expecting any massive amounts of bleed through, so I'm going to give it a go with this one. Obviously if we do get any problems with it, then we'll just switch to the red can instead. But anyway, here we go then, ready for the primer, and we're making some good progress already. So that's primer one on, and you can see all that bleed through. See how sort of orange or yellow it's gone, and that's pretty much all over. Look at the state of that, and down the sides it's coming through. So yeah, not pretty at all. Now this primer is designed to lock in any resins or marks or stains, and when it dries, the whole point is that it's supposed to lock them in, as I say, ready for over painting. But yeah, I had a feeling it might go a bit wonky, which is why actually most of the furniture we work on is wood, and that's why we carry the big can of the shellac based. And I think what I'm going to do is go over it tomorrow with a second coat of primer, but I'll use the red one, as I probably should have used in the first place. But then again, it always needs around 2 coats anyway for a decent prime on a raw wood. So yeah, join me in the morning. We'll evaluate the colour of the cupboard. And yeah, happy days. It's all good though, all good. Not bad for day one. Okay, so it's the next morning now, and we're just going to give it a very gentle sand. You can see how it's locked in all the different stains and the resins from the wood and what have you. And so I'm going to use some bin shellac primer from Zinsser, and we'll get that coat on, and then that'll be that. Next thing is to go and sand down that other drawer that I totally forgot about yesterday, and we'll go from there. There were a couple of bits of damage that we'd filled and needed to be painted in, so we used our paint kit for the wood, and you can see that looks much better now. Pretty good disguise, not perfect, but you certainly wouldn't notice it, especially once the stain is on. You can see here it is now being conditioned as well, so we're at the stage to apply the first and possibly the only coat of varnish here, the stain. It's a light oak, so just going to let that sit, and I'll take you back through to Rachel. Okay, so Rachel's back on the job now, so the paint has arrived.
Yeah, new paint day.
New paint day, and what do we have today?
Let's wait and see.
Ooh.
Well, I'll ruin it. Maybe you can guess what we went with.
Oh,
this
yes.
one.
This is our, what, 3rd colour in the last week, I think, that we've got in. So, going great speed ahead with the furniture flips.
Exactly. Stick sticking with Rustoleum because
that's what we know and it's what we
awesome.
like. Check out our other ones, by the way. We've used clotted cream, silver sage, Odyssey,
Wisteria.
dark magic, wisteria, loads of their colours. They're brilliant paints.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored. We wish they were. We wish we were. But anyway, today's one for the beautiful vintage chest is.
Hang on, I'm keeping you in suspense, guys. Keeping you in suspense. I know, yes, I know. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, that is nice. That is
Let's turn it
lovely.
around.
Give it a stir and see what we got. That's nice.
This
Right,
one
look at
is called All Green.
all green.
And
That
it
is
definitely is.
That's beautiful. Proper vintage looking green. That's going to look gorgeous against the light oak, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely.
Well, okay. Well, the gun is up there, ready.
Clean, ready.
And the drawer is there. The carcass is over there, ready to do. And we have just put the conditioner on the drawer front for the one we're not painting. That's the one we're going to stain. So run back in here. And yeah, good stuff. So all that remains is to reassemble a little sprayer and get this thing fired up. Let's do it. That's the first coat on. Looks absolutely fantastic, I have to say. Rachel's done a great job of painting that. Also, it's quite dark in this room now, but you can see the veneer difference now. Look at that, how the grain changes in that drawer. Nice one. That's with one coat of light oak on there now. So we're just waiting for that to dry properly, probably overnight. And then we'll get the actual lacquer on the top of that. And she's out there as we speak, scrubbing the handles. We're going to paint those, repaint those in gold. So tomorrow, I reckon we'll have the whole unit finished. That's the second coat completed now. All we've done is given it a gentle sand with a fine grit and a wipe down before the second and I think a final coat actually, because it looks really nice. Got a lovely satin sheen to it. So yeah, I reckon that's going to be just the job. Always important, by the way, I didn't know if I'd shown it earlier, but do strain your paint before you use it to stop any little lumps or anything you don't want in there, locking up the gun, or even worse, kind of getting out onto your paintwork. So there we go, happy days, pleased with that. So it's time to add some varnish now. We're going to hand apply this matte wood varnish. Needs a couple of coats, maybe even 3. And although it says matte, it will have the tiniest of sheens by the time we've finished. So I'm going to get this on and we are making some serious progress. So I've actually got the third coat coming up now. I've just sanded it again and it feels like silk, obviously wiped it down. I'm going to apply it with a wide soft brush this time. So it really is time for reassembly, I guess. So exciting part now. Let's start removing some of this masking. So all that remains then is to attach the handles, assemble the unit, and so we'll fade to black, and I'll see you on the other side for the final reveal.
So here she is, guys, the Harris Lebus 2-drawer dresser in all green by Rustoleum. This dresser had good bones. She was beautiful, not too damaged. The wood grain was gorgeous on the top drawer, and the handles, the hardware for this one were really nice.
I've got to say I'm thrilled with it as well, to be honest. It's come out really well. Yes, it was pretty sound, but what a difference a refreshed paint job makes. In fact, we were so impressed with it that we actually went straight ahead and did another one in blue, as you see here. And I think just that grain, as Rachel said at the beginning, on that top drawer was definitely well worth preserving. So I'm super pleased. I think it came out great, didn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. That top drawer is just gorgeous. It's just a showstopper, absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, the people have mixed opinions. Let us know in the comments what you think, whether you think it should have all been painted or not painted at all. But in any event, here they are looking fantastic in our opinion. So thanks very much for watching. Check out some of our other videos, and also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Designs by Arcadia. You stay safe. We'll be back soon. All the best for now. Bye bye.